Hello dear children, welcome back to science class. In the video of part 1 of this chapter, we have done different types of habitats. Hope you have gone through the topic. Dear children, now the question arises that how do the living things are different from non-living things? How do we know that something is living? It is not easy to decide. So, in this video, we will study that what are those characteristics which makes living organisms different from non-living. So, the first characteristics of living organisms is that they need food. Food is very much important for the survival of all living organisms. Plants make their food through the process of photosynthesis, and the animals depend on plants and other animals for their food. Now, the question arises, why do living organisms need food? Because food gives energy to the living organisms which is needed for them to grow. So now let us see the other characteristics of the living organisms, that is they can grow. When a baby is born, he can't sit or even stand. Then gradually baby grows to become a young boy, and then a teenager, then an adult, and finally becomes an old man. This is how the growth continues. Just like humans, young ones of animals also grow into adults. For example, a chick hatched from an egg grows into a hen or a cock. Similarly, plants also grow. Seed of a plant develop into a plant and then to a tree. Let us now look at the next important characteristics of the living organisms, that all living organisms respires. Most of the people think that respiration is a breathing, but actually breathing is a part of respiration. Now, what happens during respiration? In respiration, some of the oxygen of the air we breathe in is used by the living body, and when we breathe out, the carbon dioxide moves from the inside our body to outside. In animals like cows, buffaloes, dogs or cats, the process of breathing is similar to humans. Different animals have different organs of breathing. Animals breathe through nose, gills, skin, blowholes, etc. For example, earthworms breathe through their skin. Fish have gills for using oxygen dissolved in water. Not only humans and animals, respiration also takes place in plants. In plants, exchange of gases takes place through stomata present in the leaves. Photosynthesis in plants takes place during daytime and oxygen is released. This oxygen is much more than used by plants during respiration. Respiration in plants take place day and night. Now this respiration is necessary for all the living organisms. It is very important to all the living organisms because our body gets the energy from the food we eat through this process of respiration. Now, the next important feature shown by living organism is that they respond to stimuli. Now, what do you mean by stimuli? To understand this topic, let us see few examples. Okay, what will happen if you step on a sharp object like a thorn while walking barefoot? How would you feel when you suddenly move from a dark place into a bright sunlight? Your eyes shut automatically for a moment. So this bright light and a thorn are some examples of changes in the surroundings, and we always respond to such changes. So the changes in the surroundings that makes us respond to them are called stimuli. Like human, animals also respond to stimuli. For example, cockroaches begin to move their hiding places if the light is switched on at night. Plants also respond to stimuli. For example, flowers of some plants bloom only at night. There is one plant, mimosa, which is called touch me not. Its leaves close or fold when we touch them. Now the next feature that we are going to talk about is living things excrete. Excretion is the process of getting rid of waste materials by the organisms. Living organisms absorb all the nutrients from their food. The portion of food left after absorption has to be thrown away. Animals excrete in the form of feces, urine, and carbon dioxide. Plants also remove the unwanted materials from their body like dried leaves, bark, extra water, and oxygen. Some other waste produced in plants are stored by them in such a way that they do not cause harm to the plants. Let us look at another important feature of living organism, that is living organism reproduce. But what exactly is reproduction? It is a process by which living organisms produce their own kind, means similar to them. For example, the baby elephant is similar to the adult elephant. Now there are two different modes of reproduction in animals. One is by laying eggs. For example, fish, birds, snakes, etc. reproduce by laying eggs. The second method is by giving birth to young ones like human beings, cats, dogs, etc. Plants also reproduce in many ways. Some plants produce seeds which, on getting favorable conditions, grow into a new plant. Some plants can grow from other parts as well. Plants also reproduce through cuttings. A small cutting of the stem of rose can grow into a complete plant. Now there is one more important feature which is shown by living organism, that is all living organisms move. These movements may be from one place to another or movement of a part of the body. Internal movements like transport of water, minerals and food also take place inside the plant. So, after completing the life cycle, all the living things die. The lifespan of living organisms may vary from a few seconds to hundreds of years. So, dear children, we have studied in this chapter that all living things need food, respire, respond to stimuli, reproduce, show movement, grow, and die. Can you name some non-living things that show these characteristics? Yes, car can move, a cloud can grow. So, can we call these things living? No, we can't, because living things show all the characteristics that we have discussed, whereas non-living things may not show all these characteristics at the same time. So children, here I end my explanation. I hope you like the chapter. Go through the chapter. We shall be meeting in the next class. Thank you.